Hi, my name is Heather Mills. I've been practicing as a registered nurse in the state of Virginia for the last 10 years. One very important part of my care for my patients is autonomy. I want my patient to be able to be an active participant in their health care. I want my patient to be able to make decisions about their health care and feel engaged about the decisions they're making. You may remember hearing about a 29-year-old woman by the name of Brittany Maynard. She made a lot of news in the fall of last year. A little after New Year's, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. She went through treatments, had surgeries, but it quickly progressed to stage 4 cancer. She was given 6 months to live. It was a pretty big pill to swallow for a 29-year-old who was recently married and was thinking about children and family, not her own death. She decided to move her family from California to Oregon, which is one of the 3 states in the United States that actually offers physician-assisted death. She passed away November 1st, 2014, a date of her own choosing, so that she was still able to make that decision. Her family was in agreement and with her when she made that decision, and her end of life was as she planned, and not as the cancer had planned, and would have likely drug her death out, ending up in weeks and months in hospice care. Physician-assisted death is one that is not without controversy. Some people think that it's suicide. You know, suicide is a choice that is made often, unfortunately, but it's usually a choice related to mental illness. Brittany did not suffer from mental illness. She was suffering from brain cancer and knew that the cancer would eat away at her brain, although her healthy body would maintain her much longer than necessary. And she didn't want to live that way, which is very understandable. Death with dignity is often what physician-assisted death is considered or is called. And it's allowing a patient to come to their own terms with their death and allows them to make decisions about their end of life and the choices that usually aren't available. So where is it legal in the United States? I'm going to show you a map of the United States, and this resource was found on deathwithdignity.org. You can see that the states in green, which are Oregon, Washington, and Vermont, are the only states that it's currently legal for physician-assisted death. The states in red have absolutely nothing on the books. The states in orange are the ones that have that are considering but have not yet passed. So you can tell that there's not a lot of places where it's actually available in the United States. So what about religion? That's another question that comes up. And there's actually some pretty detailed information on deathwithdignity.org on each specific religion. But of the more popular, Catholicism and Judaism, they're basically in agreement that it's an offense against divine law and do not accept physician-assisted death. So that's something that you really need to think about yourself if that was something you were considering, because many religions don't agree. It's interesting, though, of note that physician-assisted death was pretty common in Greece and Rome. And actually, when the Hippocratic Oath, which is the oath that physicians take to become physicians, or once they graduate, there was actually only a minority of those who wrote the oath that did not believe in physician-assisted deaths, as it was very common practice in that time. One might consider things like removing life support. When you have a family member who has basically been given no other chance for survival, and the family is given the option of removing life support. You have to wonder, would that be still considered physician-assisted death? Because, all of the opportunities for that patient to live are removed when life support is removed. Ultimately, it's a relief of suffering for the patient. The patient that's dealing with a debilitating illness that is terminal within within 6 months. It ensures that they can die on their own terms, not in pain, not without suffering. Another very interesting thing to consider is during Hurricane Katrina. When power was gone, when the roads were gone, hospital workers were stuck in hospitals with patients requiring tremendous amounts of care, ventilatory support, things of that nature, and it just wasn't even possible to allow these patients to die with dignity. There are actually nurses that were put on trial, nurses and a physician that were put on trial because they helped these patients pass peacefully. You have to consider the state of of the circumstances that they were in, and is it right what they did? Were they criminals for what they did, or were they heroes for what they did? So I've given you some interesting choices that you need to look at in terms of end-of-life choices. A great resource is www.deathwithdignity.org, and I encourage you to check it out. Thanks.